Patreon.com/the Walk-Off Podcast. $4 a month gets you in there.
If you're watching this right now and you haven't hit the like button, Billy, get on it. Bug your brother. Tell him to do the same. Sometimes there is an extreme talent on your team that for whatever reason, the Achilles heel in their game really drives everyone nuts. And that, in Bo Bichette's case, is his defense. As a fan, sometimes you forget what an incredible talent he is at the plate because he makes the odd bonehead play in the field, and it wears on you as a fan. But I do think it is important to put in perspective what a stud and how lucky we are as a fan base to have Bo Bichette in this lineup. Okay, he is still hitting 400 for the season. He had another hit last night. He is, since September 1st, I think he is still hitting over 400. And if not, it's like 398 or something like that. His last 5 weeks of baseball have been the best in the league, pretty much. But that's not all. Adam, you sent a stat yesterday, and I'll let you take over here, but it blew my mind. And I wound up tweeting it out, our group chat comment there, because, and it's well over, it's pushing 200 likes on Twitter because it is such a crazy cool stat.
Well, basically, it comes down to this. Friend of the show, Hey Kami, brought up the fact that, like, other than Manny Machado, who's probably the active Major League Baseball player with the best shot at getting to 3,000 hits, I think he's at 1,600 right now, and he just turned 30.
Yeah.
So we'll see how he ages. But other than that, Bo Bichette might be, and again, it's relatively speaking early in his career. However, he is approaching 500 hits. So this is what I wanted to look into, is how close is he right now? He's at, what is he at, 491? Very close. The stat that I think you were excited by and Twitter got excited for was, now I've lost it. How fast did Mike Trout? You've heard of Mike Trout, right? Pretty good ball player.
Heard of Mike Trout, yes.
How fast did he get to 500 hits? Well, he did it in 423 career games. So if Bo can get 9 hits in the next 24 games, he'll have gotten to 500 career hits quicker than Mike Trout. Also looked at Juan Soto, one of the best hitters in the game. 480 hits. 480 games to get to 500 hits.
You know what's incredible about this stat, Adam, is that it's not like Juan Soto and Mike Trout didn't have all sorts of hype on them as they came up at the same time, right? Baseball really appreciated these gentlemen as young men and what they were doing in the game. And I think that Bo Bichette maybe isn't getting enough credit for what he does at the plate. Think about that. Like, just put that in perspective in your mind for a minute, okay? He is going to get to 500 hits before Mike Trout and Juan Soto did.
Also, I also want to throw in this too. We talked Manny Machado being the likeliest candidate playing right now to get to 3,000. He did it in 439 games, got to 500 hits. So
he'll beat Manny as well.
He'll almost certainly beat Manny Machado to that. So the pace is there. I mean, led the American League in hits both of the previous 2 seasons.
Just turned 25. He is a talent. That is incredible. That is incredible. Yeah. He's going to beat Mike Trout and Juan Soto and Manny Machado to 500 hits.
Yeah. For the record, there isn't a easy list of quickest to 500 that I could find. But I looked up every name that I could think of, and nobody else was close. The only one, Albert Pujols, did get to 3,000 hits. He did it in like under 400 games. So Albert Pujols, for anybody,
Hall
maybe
of Famer.
maybe the
700
younger
home run. Yeah,
maybe the younger people don't appreciate how incredibly talented of a hitter Albert Pujols was.
One of the greatest.
But yeah, he burst onto the scenes and set baseball on fire. in the early 2000s. And
Yeah.
so that's the only hitter I could find that got to 500 hits before
No.
Bichette is about to. And it's inevitable, I think, because in the next 24 games, he'd have to have a batting average of like 110. And he'll still get to it before Mike Trout. So, I mean, a serious slump, and he's still going to get there, I think. So
Albert Pujols busted on the scenes of Major League Baseball as a 25-year-old saying he's 19 all those years ago.
Yeah, but still pretty good at ball.
Speaking of stats that you impressed me with yesterday, you were a little busy
stat monkey
beaver yesterday.
Yeah, stat beaver. I like that. No, stat beaver, because that's more Canadian. And beavers collect trees, which, for their dam. And monkeys collect bananas.
Stats are your trees in this.
Stats are my trees in this analogy. Okay, we did it. Stat
incredible
beaver.
Metaphor we're doing.
All right.
Yes,
Whip up the merch. Someone in the Discord design that stat beaver emoji. Okay.
Tell us about Cavan Biggio and why he is a phenomenal bench piece for this team.
Well, very limited usage at this point so far in the season. 9 plate appearances. 2 for 5. So 5 at bats. He's hitting 400, but he has 3 walks already. So he's been on base the 5th most of any of our players and has basically half the plate appearances of anyone else.
Pretty impressive.
Third highest OPS on the team. He's got an OPS over 1,000 right now because of his ability to draw walks.
And this is where maybe the front office is hanging on to Cavan, waiting for robot umps in 2024, because I know if it's a set strike zone that's the exact same every time, Cavan Biggio is going to have a 400 on base percentage, almost without a doubt. Almost without a doubt. Without pitchers being able to squeeze Cavan Biggio and get those outside strikes where it's just outside, but the ump is giving it to him, Cavan Biggio is going to be an on-base machine.
And for anyone who's like maybe a casual Cavan Biggio familiarist, this is not based on a small sample size of 9 plate appearances. This is his career. This is what his strongest asset has been, is strike zone recognition, right? His baseball acumen through the roofs, strike zone awareness is right up there. Speaking of robo-umps, is it just because of the pitch clock and all the other rule changes, so we have other things to focus on? It doesn't feel like the strike zones have been ugly this year.
It does feel like better umpiring, and maybe
I know they were great in the World Baseball Classic,
weren't they?
But
I mean,
umpires.
This is the thing. Whenever we bring this up, people are like, "There were still bad calls." Yes, there were still bad calls. It just wasn't as glaring as it felt last year by the end of the season. I don't know if some of you remember the end of the season, but the umpiring in September last year, everyone across baseball was losing their mind. And people were literally starting robot chants in the crowds. It's like, we want robots.
Yeah, domo arigato. I remember all season long, it felt like umpire strike zone scorecards were being tweeted out, right? This guy had 64% strike zone accuracy or whatever, right? So I wonder if that's if the numbers are still bad, but everybody's just too busy tweeting about the pitch clock or how much stolen bases are up. I don't know. Like you said, it hasn't been glaring, so even if they are missing calls, it feels better, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm wrong about that, don't correct me, okay? Let me just live this blissful ignorance and think that umpires ain't that bad.